Let's go ahead and who can fill us in on all the details? Tara Tomcsik-Husak. I just totally messed up your name. I'm sorry.
Totally good. We've gotten it right so far, so we're good.
President and CEO, Troy Chamber of Commerce. How are you this morning?
I am good. It's a Monday morning. It's sunny out and it's already a busy day, so that's a good sign.
It is feeling a little bit like fall today, though.
It is. I'll take it.
So tell us how are things in Troy? It seems like the restaurants are getting busier. The mall is definitely picking up. How are things? Still business is struggling though.
Well, I mean, yeah. So you're still dealing with capacity limits and you're still working with, so we still have the 50% occupancy. There's still more expenses involved when you have to like change your entire format of operations. So everyone is doing really well. I will say everyone's doing good, but obviously they want to do better, but we all do. That's the nature of business. But as you saw, like you mentioned, Somerset, it's completely picking up. We're seeing traffic go a little bit heavier over there, and then our restaurants are doing pretty well. So it's all progressing in the right direction.
In this time, talk a little bit about how important it has been to for businesses to be a part of the chamber or any type of organization to help bring them together.
You know, it's kind of like having your own external team to help support you. I think joining it, people don't understand how much a chamber actually does for their business community. I mean, I can tell you just right now, we've connected some of our members to I think about over $3 million in grant funding to help their businesses succeed. We've connected them to new customer bases. We built relationships so that businesses can start partnering up together. There's no greater time than in a crisis than to be a part of a chamber because it's so helpful to know you have another ear and you have another person trying to help. And it's been great. Our members have been really happy, but it's one of those aspects of we don't stop. There's no off switch to our work. There's no challenge that we're not willing to step up to help. So it's been a very interesting 5-6 months.
Tara Tomcsik-Husak with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. She's the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce with us today on the program. And you talk about millions of dollars in grant money that has gone to local businesses in your chamber, and on top of that, we some of those grants have, of course, probably come from Oakland County, which has taken a really strong effort in supporting the local businesses and all different sectors of business as well. How important has the relationship between the Oakland County government and businesses in Troy and other surrounding areas been to their survival during this pandemic?
You know, it's working obviously with the city of Troy and then Oakland County. It has been instrumental. They have been staying abreast of everything. So they've been actually working with our members. We've been the ears for them to let them know the struggles and the things that everyone's trying to overcome. Even from an educational standpoint, like we do a lot of programming around education, but we've had some great opportunities with the county and the state to offer some education pieces to help them get their business through this crisis. But when it deals with the grant funding, it's been substantial to help all of our nonprofits and our businesses because there also was a giant nonprofit grant that came out. The thing is our businesses, when crises happen like this, they don't have the time to do the research and find what are the next grants, what are the next things coming up that they can apply for. Sometimes they're too scared because it could be a tedious amount of work, but we'll know on the back end, hey, this is going to take you 30 minutes. We'll walk you through it as well and help. So we've teamed up with Oakland County specifically to try to help people identify if they're eligible for these grants and then help them get through the process. So it's been instrumental for a lot of our businesses. One of our nonprofits got almost $60,000 that's going to help them survive. So it has been a huge deal, and it's been very important to be able to connect our members to these resources.
Yeah, for that nonprofit, that money means a lot. So, Tara, tell us, we've all had to change and pivot, as we say, during this time. What has the chamber had to do that you think has made you stronger that may stick around post-pandemic?
Well, I mean, everything we've had to change. Chambers are in the business of connecting. So we had to switch completely into a virtual platform. So it's interesting providing opportunities to network and to have conferences and learn education, to have a fun happy hour event. we've had to switch to a completely digital platform. Now, we're excited because we do have some in-person events coming up soon, but we're going to keep this digital platform. We realize we have to meet people where they are and work within their timelines as well. So sometimes we know having an event during a lunchtime makes sense because that's when there's a little bit of a break time for the people who are working at home. So we've really had to adapt a lot, and our technologies had to increase. We have an NPN conference that we've done every year in person, and it's going to be our 15th year that we have this nonprofit conference. We've always done it in person. We had to invest in a platform where we can have 12 speakers speaking at the same time, have an expo center done all virtually. We have our Top of Troy event that is on September 30th. It's our Women in Leadership event. It's a huge deal. It always brings in hundreds of people. We switched that to a digital platform. But although we feel like it's removed a little bit of the personalization, we've realized it's also reached people that never had the opportunity to come to our events. So it is nice, but we are going to stay virtual from moving on forward and also have in person at the same time. So maybe we're just doubling up the work. But it's been great. And also, I would say stronger relationships with funding sources. We've never had to research all these different types of grants and all these different types of things to help our businesses succeed in a time of crisis. We're the business experts. We're the ones who are getting all the information first, and we're the ones who are sharing it out. So it's been interesting, but I think all of these things we're going to continue to do moving forward.
Terry, you talk about partnership as being playing such a key role in the survival of local businesses in Troy and in other areas. In Troy specifically, what are some examples of how these local businesses, through the chamber or not, have partnered together and been able to thrive or survive at the very least upon those partnerships?
Well, a lot of it is that business to business mentality of supporting local. And then also some of it is that PPE. So when we talk about this personal protection equipment, when we didn't have any at the time, our members stepped up and they started to work in like creating hand sanitizers, signage that stayed the 6 feet distance, mask making. So that was a big impact to make sure our members actually shopped with each other. But a lot of it is just that personal support. Like we know all of our restaurants, and we send a call to action of, hey, these are the restaurants you need to start supporting because, hey, purchase gift cards. If you're grabbing lunch, make sure you're stopping by one of these members. It's tenfold. If you have questions about your finances, here's our list of financial advisors you can reach out to. If you have tax questions, here's all of our CPAs. So I think it just gives you a relationship of trust because the people in the chamber, they are all working together and it's all ships rise. So no one has the mentality of it's going to be me, I'm the survivor. It's we're all in this together. We're all going to rise together.
Bringing people together through this crisis. You're listening to the Oakland County Megacast on 89.3 WBLD, Orchard Lake, 88.1 WBFH, Bloomfield Hills. Tara, can you talk a little bit about some of your virtual events that are coming up? I was really surprised to see the one mental health listed on the chamber because I guess I was thinking that would be maybe a health issue, but it does impact businesses as well.
Very well, and here's the issue is that COVID has created a little bit of a damper in all of our mental health. We're all dealing with social isolation. We're dealing with higher levels of anxiety. There's a lot of businesses who still have the fear that they're not going to make it. You have families. So you're having employees now work from home who are doing the job of being a business person and a home educator to their children. So there's a lot going on, and how do you identify it? How do you take a breath? How do you move forward? And we have some great speakers. We have Gretchen Marsh. We have Lori Kennett-Ellison from Birmingham Maple Clinic. And they're going to talk us through, from even a business perspective, how to identify these different levels of anxiety that we have in our daily routine. And what does this do to us? Because in order for us to be able to focus and pay attention, we have to pay attention to what's going on with our mental health. And this has become a bit of a crisis in the business industry. So we're really excited to have this take place and just have an open conversation around what do we need to do to better ourselves to then better our business as well.
So for our listeners and our viewers, if they are not a member of the chamber, can they participate in this as well?
Yeah, so we do have, we obviously would love the companies to join as members, but we also have non-member fees for the event. So most of our digital events that we have online are traditionally free for our members, but if you are a non-member, you are still welcome to go to troychamber.com, go to the event section, and then there is a way you can still register as a non-member for a very small fee.
Tara Tomcsik-Husak with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. She is the president and the CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce as we broadcast all throughout the local area. Tara, just another few minutes with you before we'll let you go today. Is there anything else going on in Troy with the Chamber that people should be aware of, or other information that we haven't spoken about today on the program?
Well, I think it's really just staying abreast. I would say make sure you follow all of our social media channels. So that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And then also go to troychamber.com to kind of pay attention to what is going on. We have a lot of resources that we push out through social media. So every day, if there's a new grant that comes out, or if there's new information pertaining new business trends or any educational sources, it's good to pay attention to those resources because we do have that go out on a daily routine. For the most part, we're just excited. We are still doing okay as a chamber. We are still growing strong and still working hard. And I guess if you do have questions or if you do have concerns about things, to always feel free to reach out to your local chamber. They do have the answers most of the time. And if they don't have the answers, they're willing to find it for you. So if you're not a member of a chamber, I do recommend joining your local chamber.
Tara, you touched on social media. Can you talk a little bit about how important that has been for so many businesses during this time?
It's extremely important. A lot of things change on a daily routine, and I can go back to talking about some of the restaurants, but even some of the restaurants, they were changing. You can do curbside. Here's our safety aspects. But people are in such strong digital age, even though we're working from home, we're always checking our phones still. We're always checking social media to see the trends that are going on. We were surprised sometimes we would do a post and people would be engaged so quickly and they would get the little bit of facts, but they didn't read it in an email. I think we're all a little zoomed out and also bombarded with emails, but social media still is staying on trend. People are still paying attention to that. So once you realize you're going to have to reach people where they are in a variety of ways, I think social media has been really impactful in that direction.
We're all learning and growing as we continue to navigate this pandemic. Real quickly, anything that you do want to share with the listeners and the viewers before we let you go?
I would just say everybody stay positive. Everybody lead with empathy. So the Troy Chamber, we are servant leaders. We do everything to help our businesses. And each business has their own struggles and own things that they have to overcome. Just be patient. Sometimes things are taking a little bit longer. Sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do, but lead with a little bit of empathy and understanding and compassion to all of our businesses as they're moving forward.
You know, Tara, real quickly, before we let you go, I do want to ask, have you heard from any of your members' issues with the public and the mask mandate?
Yes and no. Obviously, there's some struggles with it. A lot of times it's going with the servers are asking people that they have to wear a mask during transition, and there's some arguments and things like that. But I will say Troy has been pretty great about it. And I think that's the piece of saying, hey, you know, if you don't believe that masks are necessary, that's up to your beliefs. But there are people who do. So please just be a little empathetic for our restaurants. There are restaurants who could lose their liquor license if people don't follow suit. So everybody has to kind of follow the rules at this time and just to be patient with them. We are all open to our views. You're all welcome to freedom of speech, but just be a little sympathetic to what they have to deal with.
So true, because so many of these people on the front lines, your servers, your host, your hostess, they're young kids, they're college kids, they're young, you know, and so like you said, show them some grace. Thank you so much for being with us here on the Oakland County MegaCast. We appreciate your insight. We appreciate the updates. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, you guys.